broken system. Your community matters. I'm questioning my own methods. Hey guys, welcome back to the Heart of Home. As you can tell, we're in my car because Silas and I just started a road trip down south to visit some friends. I'm gonna take you guys along with me. I started my morning with tea because we got up super early. And Silas has actually been asleep for the last 4 hours. Well, I should say the first 4 hours of this trip, which is gonna end up being probably close to 9. But it's almost noon. We're close to halfway to my friend Janelle's house. And it's time for some coffee. Reason other than waking up early that we are both very tired is our church hosted our annual prophetic conference the last 3 days. And I work at our church, and so it has just been a weekend jam-packed of a lot of goodness, so many great things, but all of that has equated to being very tired on this Monday morning. I've got people to see and things to do, and we've got places to be. So we are officially an hour and a half out from my friend Janelle's house. I have just been playing different YouTube videos, podcasts, all sorts of stuff to try to keep myself entertained. Caleb just called me, my husband, and we were just talking, and I told him, you know, watching all of these videos of these homesteaders and these people who strive for just sustainability in their lives, who've been affected by Hurricane Helene, has been a very humbling experience. Like, yes, we live in the Midwest. We live in eastern, central-ish Iowa, and the storms that we get are tornado storms. That is the largest threat that we get in some snowstorms. Not hurricanes, not tropical storms, not dust storms, not any of that kind of stuff. But it doesn't mean that we are immune to any sort of level of catastrophe. As we saw this year in western Iowa, there are plenty of towns that were taken out by tornadoes that we haven't seen happen in so long. But Hurricane Helene, in these videos that I've been watching, and the friends I'm about to go visit down in eastern Tennessee, western Tennessee, we've got West South Carolina, I'm going up to eastern North Carolina to see some friends. It has my mind going. I'm questioning, how am I striving as a wife and as a mother, as a neighbor, as a member of my community to be this much closer to being sustainable with my living, with the skills that I have. And there are so many different things in my 5-year plan that I have said, you know, next year we'll do this, next year we'll do this, and oh, when we have a little bit more room in our budget, we'll do that, or we'll buy that. And this hurricane, and seeing the experiences that so many other people are having right now, that we're not prepared for a storm this large to hit them and their family and their land and their livestock, is just putting a big check in my spirit of, Courtney, get your house in order. Like, you need to be ready. If anything were to happen, who's responsible for your family? And ultimately, it's me and my husband. Like, that little guy, if we don't do what we need to do right now to just be ready for the worst case scenario, then we are setting ourselves up for failure. Now, best case scenario, nothing ever happens. The lights don't go out. There's not a solar flare, like nothing crazy happens. But in all reality, we live in a messy world. I'm a Christian. I believe the end times are approaching faster and faster, and there's so many different symptoms of this world that point to that. And I have just felt such a check in my spirit to, one, prepare my family, but not just that. The reason this platform was even created was so that, two, I could teach other women and wives, and even families, husbands, whatever it might be, I could teach them about why it's important to be sustainable, why it's important to learn how to grow a garden, why it's important to preserve food and to know how to do it. Because if we don't, and we rely on a broken system to take care of us when things completely fall apart, we're setting ourselves up for failure. Now this is a golden hour. Okay, we are off. We stayed the night at Janelle's. We got to see all the cows and the chickens. We got to move the chickens. Got to see it all. It was kind of cool. It was good to touch base again with a new friend. are off for South Carolina. So we are officially in South Carolina, and it is pretty eerie how many trees are just down. It definitely hurts my heart a little bit. If I haven't shared before, I went to school in South Carolina. I would say it's where my relationship with Jesus genuinely took off. And so this place is a very special place in my heart, as well as a lot of the people here. Getting a little emotional seeing the destruction in the areas that I once considered home. So we just stopped at a gas station to grab gas before making it to our next destination, and this was the first gas station, which we're about 45 minutes into the South Carolina border. And it's the first gas station that didn't have ice, didn't have like their fresh subs and sandwiches and stuff. Water's gone. And this isn't even the worst of where South Carolina got hit. We made it. We are finally here. Bright and early. We spent a few days with Lexi, and we're staying there for a couple more days, but we are actually off to visit our new friends Josh and Jordan that are at Working Aussie's Homestead in North Carolina. Here we go. We made it, y'all. So we're gonna wait until Josh and Jordan come and let us onto their property. What animals are you gonna see?
The goat.
Goats? You think those are goats? We've got some teaching to do. We so enjoyed seeing Josh and Jordan and just getting to catch up and visit, just talk deeper after meeting one another this last summer at Murray Fest. As you can tell, it's been a long day. We've got 3 more hours of driving, and we are headed back to South Carolina to visit a few more days with my best friend. We had to stop for food, right?
Yep.
Yep. Zaxby's was a win. Ryan's birthday, our friend Ryan. It was his birthday yesterday, so we are gonna go boating today on Lake Murray and celebrate. Reached the point of our trip where Silas is very much ready to go home, but we have some big things to do today. We are in the area of Roots and Refuge farm, and if you are unfamiliar with them, Jess has actually started a coffee roastery and a few other things in downtown Batesburg. And so because we are literally in their backyard, we're taking the time to go drive over there and see some updates on the coffee shop, because it's been 2 years since I've been here, and frankly the roastery wasn't even up and going the last time I was here. So I'm excited just to see the progress and to see the place that we order all of our coffee and tea from. It's really special to be able to go and see the source, maybe. This is incredible. Look at all the people serving. So we're here. Man, it is so hard to see the devastation in towns even like this, and Batesburg wasn't even hit the hardest. I mean, you guys have probably seen by now North Carolina and East Tennessee, but there's definitely parts of South Carolina, which used to be home for me, that were hit. And like when you get into the small towns like Batesburg, Leesville here, the community, like the people who are out and like working together, the chainsaws that are going, the people that are raking up leaves and pulling limbs to the curbs is just amazing, and just such a humble reminder that your community matters, y'all. Your community matters. Your neighbors matter. The people around you matter. These people matter, and these are the same people that are going to come running to help you when things hit the fan, as we see happening all over this region right now. I just showed you guys that clip of all of the first responder vehicles and the flag up in the air, and it was at the Fine Arts High School here in Batesburg, and I'm not sure, obviously I'm not from this area, what's going on. I'm sure I could Google it and figure it out, but it was beautiful because as we drove through town, every road was blocked with either not blocked, but they had a fire truck or a police vehicle or some sort of first responder vehicle sitting in the road, and then there was another big flag over the cemetery. So I don't know what kind of event is taking place this morning, but I definitely want to honor it, and I just get so dang emotional with events like this. My bestie and I, Alexia, were talking about this, and she said, you know, I thought about you when she was thinking about how like everybody who's going through this doesn't have anything. Our family actually had a house fire in 2019, and in that house fire I told Lexi, yeah, it's humbling because the night of something traumatic like that, when you lose everything, you don't even have a clean pair of underwear. You don't have a toothbrush. You don't have any basic hygiene necessary items to just feel like to feel like a normal human being. And so I feel like when you go through something as traumatic as that, and then you see somebody else going through it, you have a different kind of sympathy for this situation, and like my heart right now just wants to help however I can, because I know the gravity of what trauma feels like, going through something you never anticipated happening to you. I know what that feels like.
They cut your tree down sometimes.
Yeah, the limbs that fell, people are cutting them down.
Where does the big sun live? Yeah. And another little branch over there. Sometimes little parts fall off big trees.
Whose coffee shop is that?
Jess.
That's Jess's coffee shop. How cool.
No, look at
It's changed so much since I've last seen it. This is awesome. Well, y'all wouldn't believe it, but as Silas and I we were walking by Beulah, Michaela, who is Jeremiah's sister, pulled up because she works at Beulah there, and I said, hey, you don't know me from Adam, but I just want to say hi. You know, I've been watching Roots and Refuge for a long time. We've been watching this unfold, and we love to support your business, and she invited us in, and we got a tour a little bit. So Michaela, if you see this, thank you again. You got your own sidewalk?
Yeah.
So I just want to reiterate one thing that Michaela and I were just talking about was the power of community, the power of stewarding. Okay. The power of stewarding skills that you can bring to the table, essentially. And that's one thing I have been passionate about telling other people when I try to encourage them to start a garden or start learning how to preserve food or just start doing something. But the whole idea behind this community is stewarding skills that you can bring to the table, so that when things do hit the fan, that you can bless other people and be blessed by other people. It's not a matter of knowing how to do it all completely yourself.
Mommy.
We paid our homage, is what I've been saying jokingly, but now we're gonna head back and go have lunch with our friend. You guessed it, we're in the car again. We're headed to see some more friends up in the upstate towards Greenville, South Carolina. And this is the beginning of our descent back home. Before we hit the road for a few hours, we are actually stopping at Aldi because, like any smart mom would do on this road trip, we are packing food and not stopping every time he is hungry or ready for lunch or just needs some milk or a snack. We're just gonna go ahead and buy it and haul it with us and just keep it in the cooler. Do you wanna hold it?
Yeah.
Now that I'm breaking a sweat. Time to finish our drive through Western South Carolina. Hopefully we don't run into any road closures. I mean, the GPS said that the roads are clear for the direction that we're going, but I decided to take the route that was an hour longer because it's supposed to be more scenic. To laugh at myself because, as you can see, I'm basically in nearly stop traffic here in Atlanta. This is not the back road that I wanted to take to Tennessee. I don't know how it happened, but you know, like how you pull up Google Maps and then it gives you multiple ways to get to your destination, and then, you know, it usually selects the one that's fastest. Well, the route through Atlanta was fastest, so I selected the one that was an hour slower, I thought, but clearly, I may not have selected the right path, or my GPS just automatically put me on the fastest route there. No idea. Now I'm stuck in traffic in Atlanta. We are so stinking close to our campsite. I am like really trekking along because we have to get there before it gets dark, so I need to get a fire started so we can warm up our dinner.
Is it getting late?
Yeah, it is getting late. Where'd Silas go? Is he right here? Oh y'all, we made it to our campsite, and I didn't get a chance to record when we got here because we were in a rush to get this fire started. So we have ate dinner. We've had s'mores. The funniest thing about this, y'all, you won't believe this. I packed everything to go camping except a tent. So we will be pitching it in the car tonight. Good morning, y'all. We slept in the car. We finally just got it all packed up. The moment the sun came up, Silas was like, it's time to wake up, it's time to wake up. So we're up. And we are gonna drive down to the waterfalls and go check them out before we hit the road. Into the woods we go. This walk-in just gives me time to basically reflect on everything I just saw in the Carolinas, and I'm realizing that I have a lot of emotion when it comes to traumatic events because of some of the trauma that I've experienced in my own life. And in a way, some people could say that that's a burden, but I truly don't think it is. You'll never understand what it's like to have absolutely nothing unpredictably until you unfortunately have to experience it. And so I feel like my heart, I can't even tell you guys how many times I would drive past a house that's been crushed by trees, or the foundation of a house that's just been completely washed away, and you just want to cry because your heart hurts for them. And my heart hurts because I'm a simp, but also because while I haven't been in their exact shoes, which nobody will ever be again, I've been in very similar ones. Now, one of the other things that's been just absolutely frustrating is the lack of assistance from our government. And there are people, like feet on the ground people, that are flying in civilian helicopters, and organizations that have been put together for events like this that are leading the way in such a catastrophic event in our nation. And it wasn't just like a town that had a tornado. I mean, this is states, multiple cities, thousands of people who are currently and still missing even a week later, which is not promising. And I'm learning that the news outlets, which I already knew before, but are very unreliable and very biased. And why? I don't know. Why there's a lack of coverage on this information, I don't know. But I can tell y'all that it's much worse than what the news is ever going to admit to. And the lack of assistance from FEMA, the lack of assistance from our military, which that's not the military's fault. That's the higher ups' fault. That comes from a military family. And yes, FEMA was there, but FEMA ran out of supplies. FEMA did not come back. Yes, the military is there, but there's very little who have actually are actually boots on the ground going. And what's crazy and what I'm seeing is there's a lack of assistance when it comes to helping those who are still alive who haven't had food and water for days or over a week now. And so these civilian helicopters and people are bringing their ATVs, bringing their helicopters, bringing their four-wheelers, their side-by-sides, everything that they have to access these people who literally are being cut off from civilization with no help from anyone else. And I think that needs to be said. I think that until we recognize that our community is significant, then we will never fully appreciate the value of relationship. And I share that on here. Hey Silas, turn around so you don't fall. I share that on here because one, this channel is about community, but two, it's also about learning and developing skills that can assist you. I mean, in times like we're seeing right now, there are communities that were completely cut off from the rest of the world, and little townships, little haulers that were coming together with skills unique to each person. Someone said, I have a stream, you know, here, I have a water filter here, I have canned goods here, like, we don't have any cell service. Like, they came together. They came together because they realized the significance in their survival when it came to that. And I don't want to instill fear here. I don't want to instill the prepper mentality. What I want to instill is that your community matters. What you bring to the table matters. And if things decide to hit the fan anytime soon, you have to ask yourself, who's going to take care of your family? Because the government is not. And there's no other kind way to say that. The government is just not going to take care of your family in the event of life or death. In the state of emergency, you are not going to be their focus. And I hate to say that, but it's the harsh truth. And as a mom and as a wife, I have just felt such a conviction to share that, to basically scream it from the mountaintops, because we are starting to see more and more and more of this with the platform of social medias. We're able to see that the government is not your babysitter. It's not your mom. It's not going to take care of you in the ways that you want it to when you desperately need it to. On that note, y'all, I think I'm going to sign off. So I just want to say thank you for joining me on this little road trip down south. I know I didn't show you probably what a lot of the other videos are showing you in regards to the morbidity of the reality. And the truth is I wasn't going to go up into the heart of where everything was hit with my 3-year-old son. But I've heard a lot of testimonies. There's a lot of friends of mine who are up in that area that I hear the testimonies of on Facebook. Okay. And I recognize this area, so I recognize the gravity of destruction that's happened because I know what it looked like beforehand. So all of this to say, y'all, develop your skills, know what to do, because we're not far away from a catastrophic event happening to even us, because the same people living in Boone, in Asheville, in Chimney Rock, in Eastern Tennessee, all of these places, they didn't think this would ever happen to them either. In developing these skills like canning and learning how to garden and knowing how to filter water and basically just survival skills, what's it gonna hurt to learn them? So I'll leave you with that, and I will catch y'all on the next video. Thanks for hanging out.